What's good, Commanders fans? So it's game week, man. I can't wait, man. We're honestly, it feels like we're the underdogs. It feels like we're the underdogs because NFL Network, they came out with predictions. Adam Rank, he hates the Washington Commanders or any Washington football team name that we've had. He has always picked against us. And I love it. I love being the underdogs. It is disrespectful against the Jags, but I'm starting to feel like we're the underdogs in this game. But I do want to get to what this video is really about. You know, this fake Chase Young news that came out last night. Some guy named Mike Jarecki or something that came with a false report of fake news. And the reason why I wanted to make a video about this is because I looked at the notification on my phone and I was upset because I was like, you know, this is true. Then, you know, the media is going to come at Chase Young's neck. You know, he wasn't doing what he was supposed to do or whatever. But this is the thing, too. Like, so the report, this is the tweet. He says, Commanders edge rusher Chase Young went to Von Miller's passing rushing camp and aggravated his injury. Sources tell me the club is not very happy. He went outside the facility to work out. And you know, the local media, the local radio stations, they would have ran with this stuff. They would have, you know, people calling Chase Young a boss and all kinds of stuff. They would have been running crazy with this narrative and him not being mature. You know, Ron Rivera talking about maturity last year and stuff like. They would have ran wild with this. So I'm super happy this was debunked and that this was a false report. I do want to go over the unofficial depth chart too. Meant to make a video yesterday, but I just didn't have a lot of time. But Jordan Schultz and JP Finley debunked this guy's tweet, this false news, fake news. JP Finley says Chase Young has been with the Commanders since camp opened in late July. Sources tell me no setbacks. He's just working back from the knee injury last November. Also, Jordan Schultz said this is absolutely false according to multiple sources. There's no truth to this. Quote from one source added, Chase Young suffered a severe injury and has done everything right in regards to his rehab. In fact, he's ahead of schedule with a real shot to play week 5. So I picked Chase Young to have 7 sacks this year. I think he's going to have a bounce back year. I think he learned a lot from last year. He has worked out hard. He's been at the facility. He's been to practices at training camp, of course, on the sidelines, working hard, doing his thing. So I think he's going to have a bounce back year. I really do. And against lesser quarterbacks, too. Against lesser quarterbacks. Last year, we had a gauntlet of quarterbacks. I'm not giving Chase Young any excuses. And also learning under, you know, Ryan Kerrigan, too. Shout out my guy, Ryan Kerrigan. He's named the assistant defensive line coach now. So I'm just happy that this is not true at all because a lot of people were running wild with this. I saw a lot of fans were upset on social media believing this fake news. And it just shows you how easy people can be persuaded to believe something. And there's a lot of pressure on Chase Young right now. There's a lot of people down on Chase Young because he only had 1.5 sacks last year. You know, the maturity thing, the discipline, the pass rush discipline where, you know, him and Montez were running past guys, talking about the sack record, the Under Armour commercials, the family feud. So there's a lot of people, a lot of fans that I see are down on Chase Young. And this is a revenge season for Chase Young. You look at how Nick Bosa bounced back from the ACL injury. I think Chase Young can do something similar to that. And get back to his rookie year form where he was dominating in games and being a playmaker. We need playmakers on this defense. We don't have a lot of guys that force turnovers on this defense. We really don't. We have good players, solid players, but we don't have playmakers on this defense. I don't see a lot of guys forcing fumbles or takeaways. You know, Bobby McCain led the team in interceptions last year, and he dropped a couple where he could have had more. We don't have a lot of guys that force fumbles and take the ball away. And Chase Young was doing that his rookie season. So I want to see somebody go out there and do that and make an impact on the game. And I think Chase Young can be he's supposed to be the most impactful guy on the defense. So he has to live up to the hype this year and the next couple years, really. So this whole D-line, honestly. So like I said, I know if this was true, a lot of local radio stations and beat reporters and media all over would have taken the story and ran with it. I just know that for a fact. They would have loved it. But my guy Chase Young, he's been working out, working hard, trying to get back on the field. Week 5, we'll see. Was it Tennessee? I'm thinking the Bears game is when he comes back. I think that would be a perfect game for him to come back. I'm a Justin Fields fan, but I think that's a game where he can definitely rack up some sacks for sure. So I want him to come back that Bears game. If, you know, I don't want him to rush back, but I think the perfect game for him to come back is the Thursday night game, national television, and make his presence known. My guy Chase Young. So, all right, but let's get to the unofficial depth chart here. Let me pull that up real quick. So, I mean, the only thing that really stood out to me was, not a lot stood out. I mean, Trey Turner is starting. It's not a surprise. I mean, we knew we knew that he was gonna start. You know, he's a Ron Rivera guy. Even though he hasn't played he didn't play any preseason games, barely practiced in training camp over Wes Schweitzer. So that's like the one questionable thing. But we already knew he was gonna start him, Trey Turner, Andrew Norwell, you know, Rouye, Leno. Sam Cosmi was going to be your starting 5 offensive lineman. De'Ami Brown is second string. I listened to my guy Pedro's video. He said De'Ami Brown could be inactive. I don't think he will. I wouldn't be surprised, though. I wouldn't be surprised. I know Dax Milne, other guys probably leapfrogged him on the depth chart. Like Cam Sims should be above him for sure. And honestly, Dax Milne a little bit too, to be honest with you. I mean, De'Ami's just dropping too many passes, hands like a snake, butter hands. We just don't have time for that. We really don't. He's getting open, but he's not finishing. $100 move, 10-cent shot kind of guy right now. So Cornelius Lucas is your backup. Quarterbacks is the same. Running backs, you know, they took Brian Robinson off the list. I see Antonio Gibson as running back number 1, J.D. McKissick number 2, and John Williams is number 3, and then Jared Patterson's on the practice squad. So Gibson is back to your running back number 1. He's going to be the X factor in the game for me against Jacksonville week 1. We're going to need a big game from him. We're going to need him to hang on to the football. We're going to need him to run hard, run between the tackles, have some vision here and there. Use him as a weapon too. Scott Turner's going to use him as a weapon too, as a pass catcher too. I like our matchup. I like the matchup with Gibson and McKissick against their linebackers. So Gibson, he's going to be a key. He's going to be an X factor in this game. He really is. I'm going to need him he's going to need to at least get 80 yards on the ground. You know, in the games we were winning last year in that 4-game streak, he had big games. He had a big game against the Seahawks, a solid game against the Raiders. He had a big game against the Panthers. Even though he fumbled in that Panthers game, he bounced back and had like 90, I think he had 20 carries for 95 yards against the Panthers. So we're going to need Gibson. As much as we're down on him for fumbling and putting the ball on the ground and fumbling the football, we're going to need him. We're going to need him this year, especially with Brian Robinson being out. J.D. McKissick, he's going to get carries too. John Williams will get carries too. You know, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1 are going to be huge in this game. Can Gibson get you that 4th and 1? Can he get you that 3rd and 1? Can he get you that 4th and goal? Is it going to be him or John Williams? Who's Ron Rivera going to put in? Who does he trust more? So that's going to be big in the Jaguars game too. Defense was basically the same. You look at linebackers. James Smith-Williams going to start. I think Shaka Toney should get more snaps, or at least be in there on 3rd downs for sure. Montez Sweat, of course, starting. Deron Payne starting. John Allen. James Smith-Williams is starting in place of Chase Young. Jamin Davis at outside linebacker is your starter. Cole Holcomb is your starter. Now, Bostic is right behind him, right behind Jamin Davis. And David Mayo's right behind Cole Holcomb. So we know how Ron Rivera loves John Bostic, man. There was a lot of times where Bostic got more snaps than Jamin Davis. So I would look out for that. I don't think John Bostic will start much this year, but who gets more snaps? And I'm rooting for Jamin Davis. I think he has a possibility to have a breakout year this year and play a lot better than what he did last year. But we know Ron, he sticks to his guys. He's very loyal to his guys and veterans. So I wouldn't be surprised if Bostic gets a lot of snaps. He's going to get a lot of snaps. He really is. Kendall Fuller, of course, starting. Will Jack starting. Ben St. Juste starting in the slot. Now, behind these guys, we just don't have a lot of depth, man. There's a lot of young guys. Wild Goose, later round pick. Christian Holmes, a rookie, a later round pick. Now, Cam Curl's a later round pick. He balled out, but, you know, there's a learning curve. Not everybody comes in and hits the ground running. So Tyree Castle-Fields, the 6th round pick, later pick. All these guys are young guys that have barely played NFL football or not even played NFL football yet. So they will be tested, baptism by fire. We just don't have a lot of depth on this defense. And some of the starters aren't really that great to begin with, to be honest. So, knock on wood, if somebody goes down, you know, we got to put these guys in. Castle-Fields, Christian Holmes, Wild Goose, you know, playing against the Eagles early, you know, hopefully there's no injuries. Or just even a rotation. Guys are going to have to be guarding A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, like Wild Goose and Castle-Fields. So they got to be ready, you know, C.D. Lamb, guys like that. This first week is not too daunting with Christian Kirk and Marvin Jones. I'm just not sleeping on them, Zay Jones, but they got Christian Holmes. They got to be ready. C.D. Lamb, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. They got to be ready for the NFC East early this year. Bobby McCain, Cam Crow, already know that. Derek Forrest, he has to be ready. This you know, he's primed for a breakout year this year too. You know, behind Cam Crow. Cam Crow's got that thumb injury. You know, he said he's optimistic to play week 1, but you know, he missed a couple games last year. Will Jack missed a couple games. Kendall Fuller missed a couple games. Ben St. Juste had a concussion and missed majority of the season last year. So the backups really have to be ready. Percy Butler is the backup to Bobby McCain. Then Jeremy Reeves is 3rd string. So he's not 2nd string, he's 3rd string behind Percy Butler. Jeremy Reeves had a better preseason than Percy Butler and a training camp as well. So Jeremy Reeves got to be ready too. He's got to be ready. You know, Bobby McCain, I think he played all the games. Bobby McCain was pretty healthy for the most part, but Jeremy Reeves is going to have to be ready. And then kick returner and your punt returner starter is Dax Milne. It's not Antonio Gibson. Jahan Dotson's right behind Dax Milne, a punt returner. Now, Dax Milne, he's not good or bad. He's steady Eddie at the punt returner position. He doesn't provide much explosiveness from what I saw in the preseason. Doesn't provide much pop or wiggleness or make guys miss in a phone booth. He reminds me of Trey Quinn, where he can field the punt. He's not going to fumble. He's not going to muff a punt like Steven Sims. And he's not really going to give you much. It's a downgrade from DeAndre Carter, if we're being honest, from the kick returner or punt returner spot, to be honest. As far as making guys miss and making something shake and making something happen. But we'll see. Let's give Dax Milne a chance to see what he does out there. And Tanner Gibson is the second kick returner, so we'll see. I think when he's RB1, I don't see him being back there as a kick returner. He has to, hang on to the football, so that's putting him back there as a risk too for fumbling. Led the league in fumbles as a running back and 6 fumbles. Jahan Dotson, I do like him as a punt returner. I do want to see him back there. I just want to see what it looks like. Because he's more shifty than Dax Milne. It just is what it is. More shifty, has more explosiveness, and he's faster than Dax Milne for sure. So that's your breakdown for the depth chart. Of course, like I said, quarterbacks is cut and dry with Carson Wentz as your starter, Heineken and Sam Howell. And then Cam Sims is right behind Jahan Dotson. Dax Milne is in the slot behind Curtis Samuel. And then Terry McLaurin is your starter. De'Ami Brown's right behind Terry McLaurin. So that's really it for the most part. F.A.O. Bada, back up to John Allen. And that's, Casey Suhill right behind Montez Sweat. Daniel Wise is the third defensive tackle behind Fedarian Mathis. So you guys let me know what you guys think. I will be making a preview video Friday, of course. So stay tuned for that. Healthy Commanders. Oh, and then, I think that's basically it. Oh, shout out once again to Ryan Kerrigan for being named the defensive line assistant coach. I think it's a great hire. Sack leader, HBK. Ron Rivera talked about maturity, and this is somebody that the guys they trust, they look up to, and they really listen to, and I think he's going to be able to connect with the guys. Ron Rivera said the guys were very happy to see Ryan Kerrigan be hired. Ryan Kerrigan, him and Warren Sapp were around training camp and preseason. Ryan Kerrigan looks like he liked it. It's a lot of work coaching, so he just retired. I know he would love to be home with his family and the kids or whatnot, but I guess he'll carve out time to do that and be a coach at the same time. So, all right, guys, Healthy Commanders. Peace.